And I would say for those listeners that maybe have a teen or a young adult that they're working with that maybe is in high school or even college, thinking about it might be less comfortable to have quote unquote a get together in your home environment. And so like what could equivalents of those get-togethers look like? And so as Dr. E mentioned, writing down even like a list of your high interests is so important because for our older teens that maybe don't feel as comfortable to have a peer over because it feels quote unquote awkward or it doesn't feel
Yeah.
as natural for them, some of those get-togethers can be engaging in a club at school or a club in college, right? So we have times where we've talked to educators about, hey, so and so loves chess, is there a chess club that we can kind of start to facilitate? And maybe there's a staff facilitator that's willing to start a club like that. And then all of a sudden, your child, along with three other kids who have similar interests, are engaging in chess club every single Tuesday. And then those people become their people. And then maybe one of those peers wants to also join a chess club outside of school. And then all of a sudden they're engaging more outside of that environment. So we have to get creative sometimes based on age of the
Oh,
child, based on, different opportunities. But
100%, a hundred
I,
percent. And it's not just, why aren't you talking? You need to talk. Most of these individuals, whatever age they are, they don't have the connection. And
mhm.
so we find quote unquote our peeps by our areas of interest, especially as children age.
Yes.
So with little kids, you set them up with coloring and puzzles, and the parent or the teacher facilitates. They do, different board games that are fun at their level. Whatever it may be, it could be any activity. It could be letters and sounds, but it's knowing their baseline stage of communication and facilitating the next stage without a doubt. It's not linear. We talk about that with
Yeah.
the social communication bridge. It's not like you master one stage and go to the next and go to the next, but it's being very creative. And sometimes when you talk to a family, they'll go, well, this is a lot of work. And I'll say, it really doesn't need to be, because regardless if your child had SM or not, finding connection is really important to relationships.
Yeah.
And the way we find connection is through areas of interest, especially as children age. So the chess club, that's a really common one. We deal with a lot of older teens and adults in our practice, and I often have given an example that I love. And one example, I give lots of them, but I'll never forget the rock climber.
Mhm.
This was an older individual who loved rock climbing, and he himself, through therapy, we worked through it. He joined a rock climbing center near his home, and we worked on it together in therapy, a list of, if you like rock climbing. He put it in his high school. Meet me, let's get together. And they had like a message board, got together. He found two or three friends or people that connected with him. I think six signed up. It was crazy.
Mhm.
And anyway, two or three of those kids became his besties.
Mhm.
And then during spring break, listen, I wouldn't have done this. Things, me. I don't know that I would have been encouraging rock climbing. I think I would have been terrified, but that's me. But anyway, it was okay for that family, and he found his besties. The
Mhm.
same with a 6-year-old who mastered chess, super bright boy, loved chess, had these really cute Thomas the Train chess pieces. And during lunch bunch and friendship group, he did chess, and two or three, or maybe, I think it was like actually one particular boy loved it as well. But they had a chess club with two or three kids. I think it was two girls, two boys, and they did that. And don't you know, the mom got together with the other mom. They had a get together. The child started coming over. Now, for this particular boy, 6, was starting to read. He felt very comfortable when it was written out, like certain things that he would need to say. And he played chess at first non-verbally, started laughing, goofing off, and all of a sudden that particular child started to spontaneously speak
Mhm.
without any parent facilitation because of the interest and to get his needs met, like, no, you didn't do that, or give me that, or whatever. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Became his bestie. We paired and grouped him with that child in school, became an intermediary, and voila, everything started to fall into place. So it all started with comfort and connection.
Yeah. Yeah. It's huge. It's definitely something that we never want to minimize. We had an episode where we released the 3 C's, which is comfort, confidence, and connection. And we definitely recommend listening to that just because we do talk so much more about those three C's and kind of dive deeper, but they're
And
so
communication. Sometimes we interchange, right? It's
well,
um,
those three C's lead to communication. So
yeah,
without those three,
absolutely.
it's hard to
Absolutely.
have that. So
Yeah, so I mean, listeners, how many of you are focusing on why isn't my child speaking to a peer? And I'm just going to, divert a little bit and say, look, sometimes it's comfort, connection, confidence building through all of that that leads to communication via teacher, parent, adult in their life facilitation. But sometimes it's ability. It's
yeah,
not about the comfort. That's, of course, a baseline. But do they have the social ability, the connection ability? Is that something that's really a struggle? I consulted earlier today with a family. The child's about 10 and really struggles with social understanding and know how. It's something they do. They had come to the center and this was a concern of theirs. And of course, some additional testing is being done. And it's not just about that. It's not just get comfy, cozy, connected. It's really the social puzzle that's really a challenge. And this is why it's hard to treat to speak. And you can't. You have to assess to understand. And through that understanding, you develop treatment,
yeah,
home, real world, and school-based accommodations interventions. That's just such a great quote, Dr. Jenna. I really wish we need to pull that one out.
yeah,
We assess to understand. And by that assessment, we are able to understand. And that is why, for us, the selective mutism eval that we do isn't just to see what type of treatment you need, but let's conceptualize your child, your teen, the adult we're working with's presentation.
yeah,
And so, with all of these questions that come in, a repetitive theme that comes up is this child needs to be in treatment and treatment with a professional that understands that it is way more than not talking. But I'm hoping that our listeners are hearing from this the importance of that social connection and comfort building and all the different activities that you can do through the gradual. Like, one of the things is through small gatherings. It doesn't even have to be in the home. It could be parents create these opportunities to go to parks, to go to nature centers, to go to the zoo. It doesn't have to be on the home. And as you said, as kids get older, it's harder because they don't have the connection for mommy or daddy or whomever to set these get-togethers up, which is why we rely so much on the school to set these clubs and activities and small groups up. And very often, my recommendation is the school suggest it. As soon as mom or dad or someone suggests it at home, I mean, this is your experience too, especially for older individuals, we find they say no. I don't want to do the club. I don't want to do the activity. And this happened the other day when we were consulting with a school. I suggested to the school, you be the one to say, hey, I'm going to go with you. Like, this was a resource teacher. And they went and did a club or activity together with that particular individual rather than mom or dad suggesting it. And since that individual has the ability to be there with that school professional, they're more likely to do it because it's just part of their day.
right.
And that is a great way to segue into these clubs and activities, if possible, with someone they know to be a safe person in that situation. Of course, if they know any peers, that would be even better to have that too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Do you have any thoughts or questions on that? Like, just like listeners with what we said, please write in. It's really important for us to get your questions. We love them. We use them in these Ask Dr. E and Ask Dr. Jenna segments because these are your questions.
Hmm.
This is what the majority of individuals ask. And it's always, how do I get my child to talk to other peers?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.